Hello and welcome back to Doom 2016. We're just on the second half of what the fuck is it called? The Necropolis, was it? Yeah, the Necropolis.
The Necropolis, yeah.
Why is it called the Necropolis anyway? What are we necromancing anyway?
I don't know. I remember one of the 3v3 maps in Overwatch being called the Necropolis as well. But that was an Egyptian map.
You think that? Yeah, that was a pretty good one. I still miss fucking Overwatch, man. The downward spiral that it had was just sad.
Yeah. I mean, at least they're making an attempt to bring it back, but I feel like whenever companies would make an effort to bring back the good bits about their games, they don't bring back like the good part. They bring back like the beginning. You know, it's like season 1 when it really picked off in season 2.
Yeah.
Or like I don't know, season 5. I don't know.
If companies are just trying to reboot a game and turn it into like a classic version of itself, then you know you're desperate. You know a company's desperate.
Yeah, but if anything, I feel like Overwatch bringing out like Overwatch Classic, or Activision bringing out Overwatch Classic.
That's more Blizzard, but yeah.
It kind of only highlights how much I dislike the live service model to begin with.
I mean, everyone kind of dislikes the live service model. It's already outdated. It's already outdated as soon as... Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, god damn it.
Damn it, Meg. God damn it, Mega.
To be honest, I actually forgot I did the same thing. I did the exact same joke here. And it's just...
Man, I feel...
And it's just as effective here as it was in the last episode.
I mean, I kind of feel like there's a whole bunch of things that I forgot I did for the Unleashed playthrough when we're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
I know I did some edits for that as well. To be fair, not to the extent of Sonic Generations. That was a different kind of effort.
I'm sure it was. Anyway, what the fuck were we talking about? Oh yeah, fucking
live service games and why they suck, and how
outdated
how the good parts of a live service game can never last.
And also how completely outdated the format has.
Take a look at Concord. That only lasted 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's firmly planted into the Museum of Failure. Right where it belongs.
I mean, okay, but if we look at all the like epic video game failings, or the museum of video game failings, what would be the most prized piece? What would be on the pedestal?
Aside from Concord?
Concord.
No, like I'm talking about all video games in general, because I would say that something like E.T. on 2600. Would make more sense, but I don't even think that E.T. was that big of a failure, or like that big of a flop. It's just at the time it had a really big impact.
Yeah. I mean, it is in the Museum of Failure for a good reason, sadly. Even though E.T. on 2600 isn't really that bad of a game,
It's on par for Atari 2600 standards.
Yeah. For 2600 standards, it's alright.
But that's not saying a lot, because the 2600 has no standards.
Yeah. You know what other game system had no standards? The 3DO.
Philips CDI?
The 3DO.
The 3DO. Yeah.
Mainly because it had no region locking. Well, it had no region locking, causing it to be like pirated to fuck.
Okay, yeah. But to be fair, I do appreciate it if a console doesn't do region locking, because region locking is stupid.
Yes.
And it should have been disbanded a long time ago. The only reason why it was kind of a thing was because of the difference in how like TVs worked and how electrical outlets would work. You know, difference in voltage, amperage, and what have you.
Well, it's a good.
That's the kind of thing that made a lot of video game systems significantly different.
Well, I'm glad that region locking has kind of stopped fully by the time the 8th generation of consoles arrived. I say that, and yet the 3DS was kind of the exception and not the status quo. And also the Vita.
I mean, in a way, I'm not sure about the Vita, but I know the 3DS had region locking, but I also know that it's really easy to bypass the region lock in 3DS systems.
Mainly because of the homebrew channel. Not homebrew,
Yeah.
not homebrew
Well,
channel, but
the
more
homebrew,
like...
the homebrew community.
Yeah.
But no, I will respect the PS3 for so many different reasons. And the first one has to be, well, not the lack of region locking, because in a way there was still region locking, I think. It was just really not present, and only a select amount of titles suffered from region locking.
Yeah.
But no, on the PS3 you could put in like your Japanese copy of Yakuza 3 and you could play it in its full glory. You could put in your EU copy of Uncharted 3 for whatever reason you bought it.
It is also a pain in the ass to use a capture card on it without using a fucking splitter that isn't copyright protected.
That's the one thing I will always hold against the PS3, the forced on HDCP. But
That you can't turn off.
like there might be a way to turn it off if you have a modded system, but I feel like even that is going to be like buried deep within developer settings and what have you.
Honestly,
No, I just really appreciate the way how Sony was at the time. I want to say it's the last generation where they had like truly a whole different set of genres and games that they brought out. I mean, I don't see PlayStation bringing out a Fat Princess in the current year, or even the last decade when it really comes down to it.
yeah, the PS3 was, I think, is like the last generation of PlayStation to really be like experimental to a degree. Yeah, it was the last. It was the last generation of PlayStation consoles to be more like experimental, and then PS4 onward, they just kind of did the whole. They just made a. They tried to make more money. Although the although the
PS4 still has variety and quality, but it doesn't take a fool to realize that the PS4 catalog, or at least the first-party titles, are all heavily influenced by The Last of Us, which, to be fair, is, from what I've been told, a good game. I haven't sat down and played it yet.
And
I got part 1 on PC, so it's only a matter of time.
And unlike
Or you get part 2 on PC.
And unlike the PS3, the PS4 has games.
Isn't it the other way around?
No.
Like, if I think about
It's both.
Like, when I think about the PS3, I think about, you know, Infamous, Resistance, Killzone, even though that's not on PS2 technically.
I think of the
There is
I think of the Ratchet and Clank Future games.
oh yeah, I guess that's there as well. Yeah, the problem is when I was at CEX to pick myself up a bunch of
Shadows.
when I picked myself up a bunch of PS3 games at CEX when I was there a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't find any of the Ratchet and Clank games. I think the only one I found was All for One, and
Oof.
I just wasn't looking for that kind of experience.
Oof.
I still think it's weird how I cannot find the HD collection whatsoever, because I thought that sold pretty well.
From what I heard about All for One, it's a slog on single player, but it's fun multiplayer. It's supposed to be played on multiplayer in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we can do it one day with like RPCS3 and Parsec.
Give it a decade.
but that's gonna be like far into the future.
I'd say give it like a decade or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty long commitment to make. I mean, imagine in like 10 years when we finally hit the big time and somebody's going to comment, "What about that Ratchet & Clank All for One playthrough?"
I swear to God, if that ever
I mean, also-
if that ever happens, you know you'd made it.
I mean, also, to be honest, Sony could be smart and give it to us via PS Plus.
Or give
Yeah, but
or
then it will be a stream thing, and
or
even then,
True.
or I say
True.
this may be a little more ambitious, but remaster the fucking future games on PS5. Like what?
remaster all the games on PS5.
No, no. The original
Deadlock.
trilogy and Deadlock have already had their like HD games on PS3.
Yeah, PS3, not PS5. Like for the modern
Not a
gamer,
console that's not a pain in the ass to actually make games for.
Yeah.
I just think it's crazy when, you know, Xbox can advertise itself on saying, "You can play the entire Gears of War saga on our newest machine," and our old machine as well. But that doesn't matter. And PlayStation just here like, here's a newest version, here's a newest game of a series you cannot play on this console, except for
No.
the reboot and a bunch of games you can play because we finally took our head out of our ass and then put it in our ass again and made some games available.
I mean, let's be honest. Insomniac are just more like focused on like the Wolverine game and also like possibly and definitely a third Spider-Man more than a second PS5 Ratchet game. As like according to their like hacked according to their hacked like release schedule.
Yeah.
Or no, leak
and
the
the
release
depressing-
schedule that got
and
leaked
the
like years
depressing-
ago.
And the depressing reality is that, well, people care more about Spider-Man than they care about Ratchet & Clank. It's obvious that Spider-Man or, you know, Marvel stuff is where the money is at.
Yeah, but Marvel has gotten so stale thanks to Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still some good Marvel stuff as far as I understand. I mean, I enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine.
big
but the
time,
main reason
big time.
But the main reason why I enjoyed it is because they were actively mocking Disney.
Yep.
Suck it, Fox. I'm going to Disneyland.
Till you're 30. Till you're 90.
I have no idea why my mind went 30.
Suck it, Fox. I'm going to Disneyland. That will never.
But yeah,
that will never
I-
not be funny.
It won't.
Yeah, I personally really love.
We just fought one of you. Why are we fighting more?
Surprise! It's a dual boss.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this was
Nice.
this was really forcefully on. They forced a fucking like they forced this into like a dual boss when this. I don't know why they did this.
Is
Please
it
tell
the
me
kind-
if you die in the first round, you started. Yeah. Please tell me if you die here, you start back here.
Well, if you watch the video, you'll find out. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, I
I'm
also
sorry. Okay, I'm
think it's-
sorry. That I'll tell you straight up. Yeah, it does. There is a checkpoint.
Good. Good. If you're good, I hate when games do this type of stuff. If you're giving me multiple boss battles in a row, you have to have checkpoints in them.
The one thing I find interesting is that these two share the same health bar.
Well,
I actually prefer it when double bosses do that.
yeah, that's usually the standard for dual bosses. Is they share the same health. Unless you,
Right.
unless somehow you're special.
I mean, I guess at that point I had more special occasions.
Unless you're.
Because when I think about this kind of case, and I don't really have a concrete example, but I think they have two separate health bars. But at the same time, I guess the UI was built only to have one health bar. So can you imagine how like butchered the UI would look if they had two health bars in it?
Yeah, I mean, they could have just. I mean, they could have easily just like sliced it in half, like horizontally, to make it look like it's two health bars when it's actually one health bar on the same like image. But you know,
Yeah.
it.
I gotta give you credit for showing restraint and not doing the BFG thing.
No, it's a waste. It's a waste of a big friendly gun ammo.
Yeah, because doesn't it do like reduced damage against bosses?
Well, if you know how to use it, it will tear through them.
It'll rip.
Easily.
You could say it'll rip and tear through them easily. You say I had restraint, and then I'm just fucking spamming the shit because I was too.
Well,
You just got bored. You just got
No,
bored.
I was too
Okay.
tired of fighting the same boss over and over.
okay, look. That's not what I meant. You were using the BFG, but you weren't using the BFG accordingly. Like, I've mentioned this before. If you hold the weapon wheel when you're firing the BFG, the higher your frame rate is, the more damage it will output each second, even if it's slowed down.
So it's like the pause trick in Mega Man 1.
Something like that.
You don't know what I'm talking about,
Isn't that just?
No, I know what I'm talking about. Every time you pause the game and unpause, it registers a new hit. So it's a really easy way to tear through the Yellow Devil.
I was just going to say, isn't that every NES Mega Man game?
No,
It's just
Only
in the
one had
first
it.
game. It's just in the first game.
to be fair, the first game needed a bug like that because it
So
tends to be
does
kind of,
five. So did X5. So did X5.
Well, that's
They
X we're
didn't
talking
do that
about.
in X5. Oh my
What do I-
god. We've summoned the Legion.
And they are
Well, I
many.
could swear that I. Oh,
Uh-oh.
yep. There you go.
Thanks,
But no,
good
I
old
could-
Sammy
I
boy.
could swear that I made a video about the BFG trick. Like I think I
I
shared it in the server.
I don't remember. If you did, it must have been like years ago or something.
Yeah.
It's not years ago. I did it because of the playthrough.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
okay, like 2 years ago or months ago at least.
Well,
This
I'll
playthrough,
show to you
Mega.
behind the scenes.
This playthrough, Mega.
And you know, at least we're all having a lot of fun with it.